When the hunt is on, mercy is the one thing the wild will not offer. The hunters have learned every weakness, every habit, every fatal mistake. The land may appear peaceful while many hidden transitions are taking place. Sound travels clearly before the wind and heat begin to build. Silence at dawn can conceal preparation, movement, and alertness. Morning activity starts in scattered places and gradually joins into a wider rhythm. The savannah does not wake as one body, but as thousands of separate lives. Some animals move immediately, while others remain still in the cool air. The pace of the morning depends on hunger, safety, and the conditions left by the night. The first hours of daylight can shape the direction of the entire day. A decision made at dawn may determine where food, water, or shelter will be found later. For a brief period, two different worlds share the same landscape. The first calls of morning spread farther in the cool air. The last hunters of the night may still be active as the first grazers begin to stir. Dawn creates moments that belong to neither night nor full day. This overlap gives the early morning its unique tension. Each call becomes part of the slow awakening of the plains. Dawn offers a short advantage to those that move before the heat. Short grass trembles quickly, while taller stems bend in slower motion. Wind gives the grasslands a movement of their own. The direction of the wind becomes visible through the movement of the plains. Long shadows create depth across terrain that later seems almost flat. Changing gusts can divide the landscape into bright and dark flowing bands. The grasslands are rarely motionless, even when no animals are present. Low light reveals every rise and hollow in the ground. Sound travels differently across such wide and unobstructed terrain. Morning gives the endless plains a softer and more detailed appearance. Wind can bring a sound closer or carry it away before it is understood. The rustling of grass creates a constant background beneath other activity. During calm weather, even a small disturbance may become noticeable. The plains can feel silent while remaining filled with subtle natural sound. Insects, birds, grass and moving air create layers that blend across the landscape. The grasslands communicate through movement, vibration and sound. Distant calls may carry far beyond the source. Broad waves travel across the vegetation as gusts pass over the plains. The surface of the land seems to ripple beneath the open sky. Different grass heights respond to the wind in different pattern. Wind reshapes the appearance of the grass without changing the ground beneath it. Every breeze adds temporary texture to the open country. The openness of the savanna allows sound to travel without many barriers. What cannot be seen may still be heard from a great distance. While they feed, their ears and eyes continue scanning the horizon for the slightest sign of danger. The herd offers protection, but it also demands discipline, timing, and trust. One sudden movement can ripple through the group and transform calm into urgent motion. Every step across the plains is guided by hunger, memory, and the instinct to remain close to safety. On open ground, survival depends on noticing danger before danger comes too close. Large bodies provide strength, yet even the most powerful herbivores must remain cautious. The plains reward those that can conserve energy without lowering their guard. Feeding may look effortless, but finding enough food can occupy nearly every hour of the day. Fresh grass is never equally distributed, so the animals must keep moving as the land changes. Each mouthful helps rebuild the energy lost through travel, heat, and alertness. A Across the African savanna, herbivores move like a living tide, following the promise of grass, shade, and water. Some graze close to the ground, while others reach higher vegetation beyond the reach of their neighbors. Different feeding styles allow many species to share the same landscape without relying on exactly the same food. Where one animal leaves a patch untouched, another may find precisely what it needs. These animals may seem peaceful, but their daily lives are shaped by constant decisions. The savanna supports diversity by offering many ways to survive on the same broad plain. Herds spread out when food is plentiful and draw together when danger becomes more likely. The distance between individuals can reveal whether the group feels relaxed or threatened. Calm animals feed with steady rhythm, but alertness is never far beneath the surface. A raised head, a turning ear, or a sudden pause can carry a warning through the herd. Different mouth shapes allow different species to use the same landscape in distinct ways. Variation among individuals strengthens the group as a whole. Some crop grass close to the soil, while others strip leaves from higher branches. Many species can feed side by side because they are searching for different parts of the same habitat. Teeth, lips, tongues, necks and digestive systems all reflect that history. Feeding equipment determines where an animal can live and what it can endure. When preferred plants disappear, flexibility becomes especially important. Some individuals explore new patches before the rest of the herd follows. Animals select among them according to season and physical need. Others remain conservative and return to familiar feeding areas. The ordinary behavior of wild animals contains remarkable complexity. Exploration may reveal opportunity, while caution may prevent costly mistakes. The population benefits from having more than one behavioral strategy. Feeding is not simply a matter of eating whatever is nearby. These choices rarely attract attention, yet they shape survival. Both approaches can succeed under different conditions. Plants differ in toughness, moisture, nutrition, and digestibility. Fresh growth may be preferred when available, while coarse vegetation becomes necessary later. This division reduces direct competition between neighbors. The abundance of life comes partly from these specialized roles. Each body has been shaped around a particular way of gathering food. Behind every peaceful meal lies a long story of evolution. Scavengers, neighboring predators, and larger competitors can all challenge possession of the meal. A predator must constantly judge whether the meal is worth the risk of conflict. Sometimes survival means feeding quickly before stronger rivals arrive. Calls, circling birds, dust and scent can reveal the location of a fresh kill. Hunger returns soon, and the cycle of searching begins again. Some predators hunt alone and depend entirely on their own decisions. Others cooperate, combining speed, position, and pressure to control the movement of prey. Group hunting can create opportunities that would be impossible for a single animal. Cooperation requires each hunter to respond to the actions of the others. There may be no spoken plan, yet instinct and experience create coordination. One predator may drive the prey, while another waits along the likely escape route. Dominance often determines which individuals feed first and which must wait. A successful kill may attract rivals from far across the plains. At other times, retreat is the only safe choice. The group succeeds when separate movements become part of the same strategy. Defending food may be almost as dangerous as catching it. Nothing on the savannah remains unnoticed for long. A hidden meal can quickly become the center of intense competition. However, a shared hunt also means a shared meal. Competition can begin as soon as the prey is brought down. Runoff brings water, soil, seeds and nutrients from the surrounding plains. Freshly filled pools quickly become part of the savannah's renewed cycle. Rainwater may remain on the surface or sink into hidden reserves below. Underground moisture can continue supporting plants after visible water has gone. Springs and seepages reveal the secret movement of water beneath the land. Some sources survive because they are fed from places far beyond the horizon. A river may rise because of rain that never touched the local plains. Its journey may begin in high ground and end far across the lowlands. Along the way, it shapes channels, feeds vegetation and supports movement. Across the African savanna, the story of life is always closely tied to where water can still be found. Reliable water becomes increasingly important as temporary pools disappear. Animals may travel farther, gather more closely, and face greater competition. Its return can restore activity with remarkable speed. The first heavy rain can refill hollows that have been empty for months. Water connects distant weather systems to local survival. Every source is part of a wider network that extends across the savanna. Water is never truly isolated from the land around it. When one source dries up, entire patterns of movement may shift. The loss of water changes the behavior of the whole landscape. It carries the memory of storms, seasons, and journeys. Thorns replace softness with defense, protecting every remaining piece of valuable growth. What looks like stillness is actually a carefully controlled struggle to endure. In the dry season, survival depends on wasting nothing, not water, not energy, and not time. Growth slows almost to a stop as the landscape enters a season of conservation. Some trees close their pores during the hottest hours, slowing the invisible loss of moisture. Others retreat into dormancy, waiting patiently for conditions to change. The savanna may appear frozen beneath the heat, but every tree is making quiet adjustments. Their deep roots and thick bark reflect generations of adaptation to a climate of extremes. Wide canopies cast islands of shade across the pale and brittle grass. Beneath those branches, temperatures can be noticeably lower than on the exposed plains. Shade changes the behavior of the entire landscape during the hottest part of the day. Animals gather beneath trees, and the soil below remains cooler for longer. Fallen leaves form a thin protective layer over the ground, slowing the loss of precious moisture. One tree can support a community far larger than its canopy suggests. Even a small patch of leaf litter can create better conditions for insects, roots, and seeds. Its branches offer perches, its trunk offers shelter, and its roots stabilize the ground. During severe drought, every living part of the tree becomes a resource for something else. The grass may fade, but the trees remain as living landmarks in a landscape ruled by heat and dust. The sky rewards bodies that are light, strong, and precisely coordinated. Strong crosswinds may require a different route than calm conditions. Birds often test the air before committing to a longer flight. Headwinds slow progress, while tailwinds can extend the distance covered. Their movements reveal where the air is supportive and where it is unstable. When several birds gather in one rising column of air, the sky itself becomes visible through their motion. They climb without following a straight line, gaining height through repeated circles. Timing is therefore essential even in something as ordinary as feather replacement. A brief lift from the ground can reveal wind strength and direction. Weather turns every journey into a changing calculation. A route that is easy in the morning may become difficult by afternoon. Birds choose altitude partly by reading these invisible differences. Higher air may remain smoother and more reliable. Rising heat can create turbulence close to the ground. Once high enough, they can leave the rising air and glide toward another area. This method turns heat from the ground into a source of movement. The plains below help create the conditions for flight above. Dark soil, rocky ground, and dry fields often warm at different rates. The hour is peaceful in appearance, but full of strategic change. The savanna's daily routines are rearranged beneath the evening sky. As the light fades, the horizon remains visible longer than the land below. Anything crossing that bright line becomes briefly clear. For others, it signals the need for greater caution. For those with sharp night vision, fading light may open new opportunities. Distant herds may become indistinguishable from shadow. A moving herd may become a slow procession of silhouettes. Individual animals merge into larger dark shapes. Soon, the same figures disappear into the deepening twilight. A bird in flight may appear as a dark stroke across the sky. No animal experiences the transition in exactly the same way. Movement is recognized by rhythm rather than detail. The setting sun turns ordinary movement into dramatic form. The eye begins to follow outlines instead of color. Nearer objects remain visible while the horizon becomes uncertain. The savanna gradually loses depth as distant features vanish first. The struggle for survival is severe, but it is also what binds this ecosystem together. Every hunt, migration and rainfall becomes part of the same natural rhythm. The savanna is never simply peaceful or dangerous, it is always both. Here, beauty and hardship exist side by side. The plains reveal that survival often begins with one more step forward. Every generation inherits the same land, but faces a different season. Life continues because adaptation never ends. Across the horizon, the story of the savanna carries on without interruption. Each day closes, but the ancient rhythm continues into the night. The wilderness changes its face, yet the purpose of survival remains. Even in silence, the land is full of movement and meaning. Each creature leaves a mark, however brief its time may be. Every creature must find its own way through the same uncertain landscape. The African plains remind us that life is strongest when it remains flexible.